Hi, I'm Steve, the Introverted Traveler. I've made it my mission in life to explore the beaches, deserts, mountains, and even cityscapes around us, and to do so while avoiding contact with as many people as possible. And although I will never hang out with you for any reason, I do invite you to join me on my journey. Come and see the world through the eyes of an extreme introvert. On this edition, we are in Cove Palisades State Park, near the town of Culver, in Central Oregon. Along the way, we will take in beautiful views, walk through desert scrub, and experience the joy of identifying poop using ChatGPT. All this and much more on this Introverted Travels. Greetings, and I'm back yet again on yet another adventure. And today, well, frankly, I've already tried to film this opening like 1,001 times, and the problem, of course, being is that there's already 1,001 people. I'm on complete and total introvert red alert, and I'm only like half a mile into this hike. But I had this whole opening spiel about how it's sunny and wonderful in California because we're in the middle of May and the middle of spring, but I don't live in California anymore. I've moved to the Pacific Northwest, and I'm literally now in a region of the world in which, and this was the joke that I worked out, and I thought it was hilarious, that I'm in a region of the world where it starts to rain when it's already raining. Go ahead, laugh, applaud. Yes, I know it's genius, but there's so many people out. I don't have time to tell jokes. I don't have time to do anything coherent. I don't have time to do anything good. I just have time to quickly ramble and tell you that there's people out. But more specifically, I got so sick of the fact that it's been raining in Portland all week, I got in my car and I got the hell out of Portland. And of course, like every exodus out of Portland, I ended up in the middle of the desert. But not the cool cowboys and cactus desert that you'd find in like Arizona. No, I'm in the mobile homes and old men sitting on motorized scooters with shotguns in their lap desert. That's right, I'm in the low-rent Walmart desert of Central Oregon. But more specifically, I'm in something called Cove Palisades State Park. I mean, I don't know if you can notice, it's a little bit deserty. I mean, look, over that looks like desert over there. Again, the low-rent Oregon version. We've been to the real desert, but it's still better than Portland. I'm on my way up to the top of a ridge on a trail that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce because A, I'm already like overflowing with emotion because there's people out, if you didn't already know that. And I just can't pronounce it, so that's what title cards are for. According to the thing that I'd like to bury in the desert, All Trails, this is about a 6.5 or so mile hike, which means it could be either 6.5 miles or it could be 60.5 miles because, and this is part of the formula, but we're doing it fast because, as I said, there's people out. Because All Trails sucks. I mean, let's face it, take your shot, fill out your bingo card, whatever you have to do when you watch these ridiculous introduction sections, but All Trails sucks. But I didn't come out to the desert just to tell you about All Trails sucking because you already know that All Trails sucks, and you can know that anywhere. You can know it in a forest, you can know it on a beach, you could literally, I didn't have to leave Portland to know that All Trails sucks. You're here to know about all the people because, as I've already told you, there's people out. But more specifically, there were only about 4 or 5 cars at the trailhead, which if you do introverted math, it's 4 people per car, it's about 20 people, 16 to 20 people. However, I didn't realize there are multiple access points, and I'm right next to a campground, so there's even more access. There's people sleeping, camping out, and waiting to pop out of their tents and say, hello, good morning, how are you? I heard you were in Portland, how's the weather? Well, I'll tell you what, the weather is raining, and you are annoying. So basically, I'm going up to the top of something high that I can't pronounce. I'm on a trail that's full of people. I'm probably going to do between either 6 or 600 miles. And it's been raining a week in Portland, and I'm ranting out in the middle of the desert. I think that literally covers every base that I have to cover on this video, so I don't risk more human encounters. I'm going to go ahead and get going, but yeah, this is where we are. This is what we're doing. And if I didn't already mention, there's people out. I am only about a mile into this hike, and we already have some beautiful views. And they're quite different than the views I usually show on Sundays, because I don't know if I mentioned it, I'm not in Portland. I'm not in the Columbia River Gorge. I'm not even near Mount Hood. No, I'm out near someplace called Warm Springs, literally just Central Oregon. I mean, I don't exactly know where in Central Oregon, because let's face it, I don't even know where on earth I am. I know I'm in Oregon. I've said this joke before, but it's absolutely true. I'm in Oregon, and when I'm in Portland, I understand I'm in Portland. But once I leave the city limits of Portland, I could be floating in the ether for all I know, because the GPS will guide me home if I have signal. I'll get there eventually, but it's like a grand adventure, because I literally don't know where I am. I don't know where anything is. I know I'm near Bend somewhere, but right now we're looking at beautiful views in the middle of the desert. And this is the type of adventure that you too could go on if you had, severe mental health issues and the memory of a gerbil. But yeah, despite the fact that I've already seen like half of humanity on this trail, half of humanity is that way. They don't seem to be coming in this direction anymore. I think that they've already met up there. They're probably all waiting for me. They probably have balloons and streamers, and they're like, hey, look, it's the introvert. Yay! And then they come up to me and say, hey, let's talk about your life. Let's talk about my life, especially my life. I want to talk about my life. I want to talk about my family. And then somebody else comes up and says, hello, good morning. Let's talk about my life. And I'm like, oh. So basically, I came into the middle of the desert today to utterly and completely lose my mind. But hey, at least I'm doing it in a beautiful place. Because although I have no freaking idea where I am really, I mean, again, I'm near some place called Warm Springs. I'm actually in another town that's beyond Warm Springs, but Warm Springs is the only town that I can remember, so you can check that on the map and just sort of wander around until you find where I am. I don't know where I am, but I know that wherever I am, it's beautiful. I mean, this is utterly beautiful. Unfortunately, I'm hearing the ugliness of human voices coming from somewhere down there, so I'm gonna get out of here. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that even though Sundays are random chaos, at least they can be pretty random chaos. Well, here's an update. I've seen more people. They are everywhere out here. I mean, I'm literally on the side of a cliff, and there's only two directions they can come from, and I'm pretty sure that they've figured out a third way to get up here, because they're all over. It's like an infestation. It's like an infection, and I don't know what to do other than, dive that way, but I'd only be hurting myself, and we all know that I need to survive because I'm on a mission from the universe to tell you how much humanity sucks. But I did happen to see 2 dogs. Now, there was a whole group of people with them, so we won't go into the introverted math about how the wonderful presence of dogs canceled out the soul-sucking presence of humans, because there were just too many people. But I did that thing where the humans said hello to me, and I completely ignored them, and I just said hello to the 2 dogs, and I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? And I totally snubbed the humans, but for some reason, that's acceptable. People don't mind that, because if you acknowledge their dogs, for some reason they think that you're acknowledging them, even though I'm secretly saying, I hate all humanity. I will join you when the revolution comes, my canine brethren. People don't pick up on that. They just see wonderfully beautiful, gorgeous, cute introvert, bald, sexy, interacting with their fluffy, cute dogs. And for some reason, that's fine. For some reason, people do not care if you don't talk to them, as long as you're engaging with their animals. And frankly, that is acceptable. Now, what's not acceptable is, trying to make eye contact with me and talking to me in the first place. But if you're willing to just accept the fact that I want nothing to do with you, and I'm going to talk to your dogs, we might be able to come to a peace agreement. Remember, no eye contact, no directly addressing me, and maybe turn your head the other way and just humble yourself as you pass me, and let the dogs take it from there, because the dogs know what to do. The dogs don't harass me. The dogs don't try to tell me about everything going on in their life. No, the dogs sniff me, the dogs stare at me, the dogs lick my hand, and they move on. I'm about to be blown off this cliff, so I'm going to make this diatribe about how I hate people and how I love dogs as short as possible. But I'm also trying to kill time, because there's people in front of me, there's people going that way, there's just people. I don't know if I mentioned it, there's people out. But yeah, this is where I am, and I saw wonderful dogs and terrible humans. Well, according to ChatGPT, for the second week in a row, we have coyote poop. And it actually goes into detail when it identifies the poop. There's a whole bulleted list that the artificial intelligence, the artificial intelligence that could help us discover new planets or cure many diseases or prolong ourselves or a whole host of things that it could be applied for. Well, instead, it gives me a bulleted list of exactly why it thinks that the poop is coyote poop. And it's things like, well, it's medium size and it's cylinder shaped. I mean, literally, we could be using this power to solve world peace and bring harmony. We could solve our environmental crisis. We could solve climate change. We could solve the mystery of why there's so many damn people out in this park right now. But instead, the programmers who are hard at work on programming ChatGPT, they're just entering information on poop and plants. That's pretty much what I use it for, and I'm pretty sure that's all it's really used for. I mean, I bet there's these little nerdy guys sitting in cubicles somewhere going, yeah, well, coyote poop, it's cylinder, let's type that in. It's medium size, let's type that in. So, yeah, the second week in a row, I've got coyote poop, so we know there's coyotes out here in the desert. Imagine that, there's coyotes in the desert. Didn't need AI to tell me that, but we have way too many people out here, but we also have beautiful views. We have okay weather in comparison to other places in the state right now, but we also have coyote poop. And I know that because the super intelligent, well-programmed and powerful ChatGPT we could be in different galaxies right now. We could literally be at the end of the universe using the power of ChatGPT and assorted artificial intelligences. But instead, you got some overweight, introverted, weirdo, bald guy using all that power to identify poop. Yeah, great use of technology. It's ironic that there's so many people out here today because I'm literally in the middle of nowhere. I'm in the middle of the desert. I'm off the main highway. I'm down a long stretch of side road. But not only that, this is a scary area. I saw a rebel flag hanging from a tree. I didn't see any swastikas or Make America Great Again signs. But if there's a rebel flag, swastikas and Trump paraphernalia, it can't be far behind. Then I turned onto another road on my way to this park, and there were just random people burning things just in the ditch. There was stuff on fire. There were people in hats. They had blow torches or something. I don't know. I was driving really fast down the road, but there's rebel flags and things on fire out here. And yet the park has tons of people in it. It's got people at the campground. It's got people at the trailhead. Well, I haven't seen people out here for a bit. I seem to be on part of the trail in which the people are. I think they went in the other direction because I'm on a loop, and it loops around that way as well. So I think I've chose the non-people side of the loop. But yeah, when I drove out here, all I could really think about are hee-haws, banjos, burning crosses, and the Republican Party. Because, all those things just go together. And that's the scary part of America. That's the part of America where somebody comes up to you, tells you that you have a pretty mouth, and you start to run. That's the type of part of Oregon that I'm in today. This is a scary area of Oregon. And yet, there's still plenty of people. I don't know what it would take to find a place where there are no people, but apparently rebel flags and burning ditches on the side of the road, that's not it. so far. This hike has just been me hiking about a mile up the side of a mountain, and now I'm just wandering around the top of the mountain, which is basically the desert. So I'm wandering around the desert. I'm not doing anything special. There's no beautiful views on this part. There will be in a bit when I go back on the other side of the loop, but no, it's just me wandering around in the Oregon desert again. We're not talking cactus and cowboys. We're talking pine trees and apparently rebel flags. And that's what you get out in the middle of northern, central, southern, I don't know, one of those places in Oregon, wherever the hell I am. Central Oregon, I think. But, I mean, it's literally just been this for the last mile or so. Just more of this. Luckily, no people. I haven't seen, well, no, I've seen one or two, but nowhere near the number of people that I saw coming up here. So they're still over here somewhere. I have that not to look forward to, but to be terrorized by. That at some point, I will probably run into all those people that I saw coming up here. But at the moment, it's just meandering in the desert. Just walking amongst the trees and the shrubs and the dirt. That's it. I could go on and on and on about it, but that's literally it. So I drove 2.5 hours over the snowy mountains. It was snowing at Mount Hood, by the way, so I could have died. And I drove 2.5 hours because Portland is so awful during most of the week, and well, it's always that I couldn't take it anymore, and the weather has been terrible and all that, so I wanted to go out to the desert. So I drove 2.5 hours. I went through snow, I went through rain, I went through other people, and now I'm out here walking around and meandering in the desert. I mean, usually on Sundays I'm meandering in the forest, but maybe this is a good change of pace. I mean, 2.5 hours to just wander on the top of a mountain, just incoherently walk around, make random rants that really don't make any sense to anybody but me, and apparently that's what we're doing today, and apparently it was worth the drive. I mean, I actually don't really mind because I'm not in Portland. I think I'm either hearing birds or other people, and I'm in Oregon, so both prospects are terrifying. So I'm going to go in this direction, but yeah, this is where I am. This is what I'm doing. And it's as pointless as every other Sunday. So drove 2.5 hours to do something pointless. This is actually really, really cool. ChatGPT finally did something other than tell me that what I'm seeing is coyote poop. So I took a picture of this. This to me just looks like more scat. It looks like older scat. It's white. I mean, we can go on and on about the different properties of poop and its age and how it ages and what color it gets when it's aging and blah, 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 blah. But I took a picture. I put that in the ChatGPT, and it told me that it wasn't poop. Actually, more specifically, ChatGPT says, thank you for sharing the second image, because I already showed it one image of poop, because what else am I going to show artificial intelligence? Something intelligent that could actually allow it to use logic and thus gain sentience and kill us all? Well, that would be cool too, but no, I just send it pictures of poop. But it says, this scat looks quite different from the first one and gives us some strong clues. Based on its appearance and the fact you're in Cove Palisades State Park, here is a likely ID. It is likely owl pellets or raptor scat, possibly a great horned owl or another bird of prey. So, if you don't know what owl pellets are, basically the owl digests the tiny rodents that it eats, and then it pukes up the bones and whatever else, and it's in this little tiny pellet, and you can actually cut these little pellets open and pull the disgusting bones out and go, hey, look, this was in an owl, and now I got bones. I mean, literally cutting it open to get a pile of bones, but I don't know, whatever gets you your kicks. I mean, it's better than voting for Trump. So if cutting open an owl pellet and pulling out a bunch of little bones gets you not to vote for Trump, I'm all for it. I won't make fun of it. I don't care. You go have your owl pellet hobby and leave the rest of us to sanity. But yeah. And now that I look at it, one of them is shaped like there could be bones and puke in there. So yeah. This is what we have out here. I mean, I'm not going to disturb the scat. I'm not going to dissect the scat to figure out what it is. But owls and other birds of prey are puking. Coyotes are shitting. What looks like an incredibly boring desert that's unfortunately filled with people is actually a dynamic, exciting ecosystem for me to make random GoPro diatribes about, because what else am I gonna do? Actually something creative? No, I'm gonna show you coyote shit and owl vomit. Coyote shit and owl vomit is about as creative as I'm gonna get. Okay, so this is utterly terrifying. Once again, I'm right on the edge of something, well, something high up, and we all know how much I love heights, but check out the view. So there's the bridge that I came in. Now, as I was saying, it's an incredibly long road to get in here. There's not a whole lot to this park that I can see. I'm literally just been meandering through the desert. There's not a lot to do out here, but it's an incredibly long road, as you see over there. There's a car. The car's coming, and then it's going to go over the bridge, and then it's probably going to go park next to me, and then there's going to be 20 more loud-ass people coming out of the car, coming up the trail, etc., etc. It's the circle of ridiculousness. It's not the circle of life. It's just a circle of ridiculousness that ends up with me having to listen to your mundane conversation on the trail again. But forget about that stupidity, because check it out. I mean, this is really pretty. I mean, yeah, it is in the scary rebel flag waving part of Oregon, but this is amazing. Look at that canyon. Look at the geology. I mean, could you imagine that something that literally takes millions and millions and sometimes billions of years to just make a thing could be that beautiful? I mean, the processes of Earth are almost as slow as my hiking ability, but after that long ass time, it produces something beautiful. And I actually had to film this in 2 seconds, and I had to wait a long ass time because I get to the beautiful overlook, and I'm trying to describe it, and I'm trying to talk about it, and I haven't seen people in like an hour. I've been just wandering through the fields, wandering through the desert, looking at coyote poop, looking at owl pellets, and the minute I get here, guess what happens? The sky opened up and they showed up. So I've just been standing here patiently and politely waiting for them to get the hell out so I could finish my diatribe. Because as we all know, I take priority over everybody else and over nature itself, of course. Well, no, not really, but it annoys me that people exist, so I'm gonna make a note about it. But yeah, this is where I am. This is what I'm doing. And that's what geology did. What geology did is right down there. See it? See how beautiful? It's gorgeous. Good job, nature. Here's the most scenic view I could ever give you. Behold the trailer camping parking lot down there. Over there's a visitor center, and then there's all sorts of car. There's a car. You see that thing that's moving? That's a car. I mean, I could show you the beautiful geology on the other side, but frankly, I think the campers, I mean, I've shown you the geology. You've seen the geology, you've seen the erosion, you've seen the canyons, you've seen all that. But I figured you hadn't seen 200 campers that have come out here. I'm not really sure why they come to this park. I mean, this park is fine, but this hike is the only hike that I found in this park. And there's not much to it. I mean, I'm almost done. I mean, yes, this video is probably still going to be 40 minutes long because I can't make anything that I'm in because, you know, every word is precious. And obviously I don't know how to edit myself worth crap. So every video ends up being like an hour long, but there's not much to this hike. You go up the side of a mountain, you walk around on top of the mountain, and then you go back down the mountain. And on the way down, you get to look at the beautiful trailer camper park area. Aside from the RVs I mean, it is beautiful here, but there's not a lot to do unless you go float on the river in a boat. That sounds terrible. Although there's not that many people out there on the rivers, and there are a lot of people up here, so maybe that's the same thing to do. Put yourself in water and float away from the people. Maybe I should float away from the people. Not only should I float away from the people, over there in that direction, I saw two people sitting and eating sandwiches. Doesn't matter if you're on the top of a mountain peak, or if you're in a beautiful forest, or if you're wherever the hell I am today. There's always going to be sandwich eating. So that's the big highlight of the hike. I've shown you geology, I've shown you RVs and campers and oh my, and now I'm talking to you about the people with the sandwiches. It all comes full circle. It all comes back to hikers eating sandwiches. I don't know why. I mean, this is literally a 2-hour hike. Why are you eating sandwiches? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I'm about to be done with this. I'm on the last leg of it. Then I'm going to go back down. I'm going to find my car. I'm going to get into my car, and then I'm going to drive 2.5 hours back to my house. Why, I don't know why I drove that far to begin with, because this is like the shortest hike I've done in a while. I mean, yes, I've still been out here for like 10 hours because I'm slow as hell, but yeah, this is what I'm doing today. Looking at beautiful views, looking at RVs, and looking at the sandwich eating. I've officially completed the loop. I am done just randomly walking around the desert landscape. And now I'm headed back, eventually back to my car. Now, I was going to do this video at the sign for the loop that we saw going in. So I was going to show going in, then I was going to show you, I was going to say, hey, I'm at the end, blah, blah, blah. But some random person just decided to sit there and eat sandwiches. Again, with the sandwich eating, I do not understand why it is so imperative that hikers bring sandwiches with them. I mean, yes, I understand the need to bring some food, but you eat it really fast when there's no one around while you're hiking. You don't sit there and savor it in front of a sign where other people could actually come up and talk to you. Okay, breathe. Socializing is a myth. Socializing is a myth. There's no such thing as socializing. There's no other humans. You're on a planet just full of dogs. No humans. Okay, that was a close call. But yeah, there was somebody up there eating a sandwich. It's a common theme in hiking. There's just people eating sandwiches all over the woods, as far as the eye can see, at peaks, on peaks, in peaks, on rivers, in rivers, at caves, in caves, everywhere. Just sandwich eating. That's apparently all hiking is now. It's aggressive, high-performance sandwich eating. But yeah, up there somewhere in that general direction is a person eating a sandwich under a sign or near a sign. So I couldn't make this video by the sign, so I'm making this really rambling, weird video down here to let you know that I'm headed back to my car. So really, that was a whole lot of words just to tell you that I'm going home. So let's go home. I'm tired. I just walked around the desert for like 2 hours and I've seen like 50 people eating sandwiches. So let's go home. I'm heading towards the end of the hike now. I'm going to do the trail rating in probably the next segment. But most of the time when I'm heading home, when I'm heading towards the end of the trail, all I can think about is my car. And most of the time is my car still there? Did someone break my window and steal my car? Did my car get towed? Am I stuck out here? I'm bleeding, I'm sweating, and whatever I am at the time. I need my car, I want my car. It's that type of anxiety. Apparently on this hike, there is no anxiety because my car, it's literally right down there. I can see it from here. I don't think I told the YouTube audience, but my Prius is no more. My Prius is an ex-Prius because a deer decided that it just couldn't handle being around humanity anymore. It sees the direction we were going. It had heard about the election of the orange dictator, and it just decided that my car was going to be the end of its existence. And unfortunately, that was the end of the Prius. So now I got a Kia, and it's right down there. Yeah, there's a Kia right down there. And it's mid-clearance. It's not high clearance, but it's not the low clearance of the Prius. So now I can go into all sorts of places in the desert that allow me to go on high peaks so I could stare back and look at my car. Right there. My car is right down there. I see it. I hope the camera is aligning my finger to it because the car is like right there. So yeah, that's what I'm getting up to at the end of this hike. I'm not like thinking about what a glorious hike it was, because it was literally, I was just walking through the flat desert for like 2 hours. But I'm thinking about, hey, my car is still there and I can go home. Thank goodness. I mean, I mourn the Prius, but the Kia does its job too. So I'm going to take the Kia and I'm going to go home. And for those of you who may be fast forwarding through the segment or didn't catch the entire beginning of this segment, my car is right there. That's my car. Isn't it cute? All right, so according to the desert dwelling awfulness that is all trails, I have a little over a mile left on this hike, and thus a little over a mile before I can get back to that beautiful Kia that you saw from afar. You don't know how well you saw it on a GoPro, but you kind of sort of saw. It's a Kia. They're all over the place. You think you can use your imagination. I think it's time to do our trail rating. So we rate our trails on a scale of 1 to 10, and I see a person down there, so I'm going to make this as fast as I can. 1 represents the very worst thing that an introvert could ever encounter, and that is Disneyland on the 4th of July. There's a lot of flat land there too, but it's not populated by coyotes or owls or desert scrub or anything like that. No, it's populated with costume characters that want to hug you. It's populated by parents and their snotty children who are arguing about how many balloons they want, how many cookies they can have, how many mascots are stalking them slowly, because that's what happens on the 4th of July at Disneyland. The mascots stalk you through the streets. They're quiet and slow at first, but you keep looking back. You're walking down Main Street and you're looking, and there's Clarabelle the cow walking like 10 paces behind you, and then you look again and it's 5 paces, and then you look again and it's 3 paces, and so on and so forth. There's screaming. There's eventually blood, because of course the mascots are going to catch up to you and murder you. That's where I'm going with this, of course. So on the 4th of July at Disneyland, the tourists get murdered by the costume characters. That's where this diatribe is going. But besides that, there's explosions in the sky, there's screaming, there's hollering, there's children saying, "I want a churro." It's awful, it's horrible, and that's what I call introvert hell. But contrast that to a 10 on our scale, which I call introvert nirvana or introvert heaven, and that's just you alone in the middle of it's summer, so it's not a very uncomfortably cold ice field, but it's an ice field nonetheless in the middle of Antarctica, and there's absolutely nobody around, nobody to bother you except for the government-designed, genetically modified, sentient, and very bloodthirsty giant army of human-eating penguins. Now, they see you as a human, but they actually think that you're their leader. So they leave you alone. But if any other researchers or nature photographers, anybody from National Geographic or anything like that, if anybody comes up to your little hut there in the middle of the field in Antarctica, oh, it's waddle, 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 attack, and then the person is dead. They're completely dead, because these are trained assassin penguins, and they're willing to do their job and do it well. That's absolute heaven though, because I mean, yes, there's some blood on the snow, but you get quiet, you get solitude, you get to reflect, you get to feel your heart swell with beauty and love and you don't have to talk to another human being at all because, I mean, didn't you hear me? There's blood all over the snow and there's pieces everywhere. I mean, the humans are dead. They're gone. The penguins won. So that is a 10 on our scale. So on that absolutely freaking ridiculous scale that's just gotten way out of control at this point, I'm going to put this trail as about, unfortunately, a 2. There's just people everywhere. There's people, and there's more people. I round the corner, there's a person. I go down a hill, there's a person. I go up a hill, there's a person. And I thought the trailhead didn't have that many people at it. I didn't realize there was like connections everywhere. This park is loaded with people. I don't know why, because there's not much to do other than hike up a mountain and walk around the flat top of it. But they're here, and that's terrible. Now, I will say, I did get a little solitude at the top, and at the moment I've gotten solitude, but it's like 2:30 in the afternoon, and I don't know if this is the hour in which people are walking up mountains to hike around the flat desert, but unfortunately, there wasn't enough solitude to up it in the ratings. So that leads us to our misery index. Scale of 1 to 5. 1 is complete fiction because it would be no misery, and I just told you a story about penguins eating people because they exist. The people exist, and thus they get eaten by the penguins, which also exist, but they exist to eat the people that exist. This type of stuff that comes out of my head is not coming out of a brain that is not miserable at any time. This brain is always miserable to one degree or another, and so a 1 on the scale is complete myth and never happens. A 5, on the other hand, the other end of the scale, is the worst type of misery you could ever imagine. Oh, and that happens constantly. That's like every hike that happened. And it happened today. I was at a 5, but as usual, I blow the scale apart because a 5 is just not descriptive enough. I was at a 5 crazillion. I'm inventing words to describe how miserable it is to be hiking and see a person. Oh, so I was probably about a 4 or a 5. Right now, I'm about a 2.5 or a 3 because I'm alone. But of course, I'm headed back to the trailhead. There may be people there, and the misery index is going to go back up yet again. So that's where we are on the scales today. We're at a 2 on the trail rating. We're between a 2.5 and a 5, depending on what part of the trail I'm at. And I'm going to go back to that cute little Kia that you saw from like 2 miles away. I'm going to get into that cute little Kia, and I'm going to go 2.5 hours back to my house because I drove all the way out into the desert for this. This was definitely worth it. So onward and upward, and I'll see you at the conclusion. All right, so I am on the final stretch of the trail right before the trailhead, and thus right before my car. Now is around the time in which we have to bid our adieus. We have to say farewell. But before we do that, let's do a quick recap. Today I did a hike that I can't pronounce up in Cove Palisades State Park here in the literal middle of the desert in Central Oregon. Not Eastern, not Western, but Central Oregon. But along the way, unfortunately, I saw people. Lots and lots of people. But I also got to see some beautiful wildflowers. I got to see all sorts of different types of poop. I got to see apparently owl pellets, according to Chat GPS. But we also saw some beautiful views. We saw some beautiful wildflowers. We saw some beautiful landscape, and we had some beautiful rants. But unfortunately, it is time for us to say goodbye. And from there, you know exactly what I'm about to say. Stay introverted, everyone. And of course, I'll see you in the next adventure.